Good afternoon. My name is Eme Gisore, and I am here in place of All Things Labs and Testing to welcome you today to our next Insight Series webinar, which is Making AI Work for You by Mr. Kevin Tuei. So, what is All Things Labs and Testing? ATLT has emerged as a vital platform to catalyze economic growth by uniting and advancing laboratory science and accreditation and testing technologies. Our aim is to unite industry leaders, regulators, innovators, practitioners, and academia to share best practices, showcase breakthrough technologies, and collectively address the challenges that hold us back. Sorry. We focus on critical sectors that form the backbone of Africa's sustainable development, including agriculture and food, water and irrigation, environment, engineering, mining and energy, forensics, and lastly, ICT. Every one of these sectors depends fundamentally on robust, reliable testing because what gets tested gets trusted. Now, we're gathered here today for an ATLT Insight Series webinar, which is crafted around our theme, Growing Africa Through Quality Testing. This initiative connects you directly with leading subject matter experts and thought leaders who are shaping the future of testing in Africa. Our series is anchored on four pillars. Firstly, thought leadership, where knowledge is shared and fostered conversations on best practices. Innovation spotlights highlighting emerging technologies and their transformative impact, knowledge exchange sharing proven solutions and best practices that work, and lastly, industry challenges tackling sector-specific barriers to growth and development. Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming industries worldwide today. This webinar is to demystify and distinguish this technology that is everywhere. Mr. Kevin Tuei is showing how technology is an integral part of our lives, whether we realize it, for we all interact with AI. This will be a 40-minute presentation followed by a 10-minute live Q&A. Thus, it is my genuine pleasure to welcome you here, Mr. Kevin Tuei. The floor is yours.
Be different. Yes, there will always be different kinds of nuances in any kind of revolution. And when you're here in the African context and you're talking about artificial intelligence, people will be like, "This is a Western thing. It is a fad that will go away, and the only thing that we need to do is bury our heads in the sand." But that is not the case. Where I've seen, because what happened for me before the AI revolution came into play, I was pretty much into only computer science and only things around cybersecurity. But then I had an opportunity. I had a once in a lifetime opportunity to go to the entertainment capital of the world, that is Las Vegas, in December of last year. And it actually confirmed what I've been doing on that last year and even through to now, the whole of this year, regarding what AI can do for you. It's very interesting because I can already see Julian's AI note taker. I can see a couple of things that people do on a daily basis, that is on three key aspects that I'm going to be covering today. And those three key aspects are productivity, deep research and study, and the third thing is automation. So the first easiest way of making AI work for you is productivity. For example, sometimes people ask me, "Kevin, do you have like 9 lives?" For example, for me, I have to manage like on a daily, I have to manage over 10 calendars of meetings, of activities from different kinds of setups, from organizations to personal learning to a couple of different other things. And how am I able to do that? AI comes to the rescue. And the funny thing, I never double book myself. I never put myself in 2 meetings, yet I should be only in one. And that is possible through AI. Another aspect of productivity that you're going to be looking at is the ability to do something faster. For example, you're supposed to give an analysis or an insight synthesis of something that has been happening over the whole year. Maybe you've been having different cohorts of learning on a particular topic, and you want to do an analysis of the data that you do have there. And you're told, okay, we're giving you a whole week to do that, because most people think that, hey, without AI, you really need to look at a lot when you're digging into the data. And when you're able to do whatever was to be given, you've been given a whole week and you've been able to do it in a day, that means that you are able to free up that time to do other things, hence you're more productive. We usually call it 10xing your productivity. And that is also what is also capable of AI. So let's start with the productivity part of things. And I'll show you how you can make AI work for you. First of all, using, as we said, and as a caveat or a disclaimer, any tool that I share with you today, it doesn't mean that I'm an ambassador of that tool or I'm paid to like market that tool. No, I'll be showing you diverse tools, but it is up to you to choose. Some, for me, I pay for them, but it doesn't mean that you're supposed to pay for them. So just as a disclaimer, you're going to see a couple of different tools, but it doesn't mean that those are the only tools, or it doesn't mean that you should only use those tools. Okay, so let's get right on to this. And the first tool that I'm going to be sharing with you, let me see, in terms of productivity, is the well-known. For example, you'll be able to compare different tools. So let me share my whole screen. I think I closed a lot of different things. So let me just share my whole screen so that you can see this. So one thing that for me, I usually use a lot, and people wonder why do you usually use this, is Notion, right? This is Notion. Notion is a platform where it was well known only for taking notes and building things from tweets and other different things. But Notion has grown in terms of many different things. So Notion has this thing called Notion AI. So anytime I take notes, definitely I can check it. For example, I can add a context and I can put some different things. For example, some notes that I took from many other different places. For example, let me take one here. Let me see if there's something like this one, PMI Kenya Summit 2025 notes. I took some notes. What were the key takeaways from the PMI Kenya Summit? PMI stands for Project Management Institute. So just ask that question. So it is checking, it's going to check my own kind of notes. So you can see it is saying, these are the things that you're able to look at, and it's getting directly from there. Essential skills for the AI era. These are the ones, the technical skills, the cognitive skills, human skills, AI's impact on project management, useful tools that were highlighted, Napkin AI, OfferGoos for interviews, cloud, Google, and all these different kind of things. So these are some of the things that so Dr. Eliud from KIPH shared concerning statistics, only 36, what, and the core philosophy and that. So I can easily get up this and do a lot of different things around the notes that I've taken. Because think of those notes that you take with that Kasuku or a small notebook or a paper somewhere. It definitely gets lost somewhere, somehow. But with these, you can build what you call a second brain. I usually say Notion can be your second brain. And with that, you can do a lot more. So I would ask you, first of all, check out Notion AI, Notion, then you can check some of the things. Again, it also does that feature of being part of meetings. For example, you can see these are meeting notes. So this just something about testing. There's a certain meeting that I had here. I think this was a team weekly meeting. I think it gives me a status on what was covered and what are some of the action items from that. You already know that maybe from Otter or Firefly, but there's something very interesting that happened. Somebody posted, I think there are some people from Fireflies. So you can see, you already know there's a platform called fireflies.ai. Let me see if you can see all my platforms. So let me just use my Taraka platform here. So these guys they said that I don't know that it was a funny post. They said that they started out by, you can see this one, two men listening into work meetings fooled their customers. So they fooled their customers into paying $100 per month for their AI note-taking startup. The first version doesn't even have AI. So they made a confession. For example, when they started out fireflies.ai, I don't know which one was the one that I saw. Which one is the one that is in this meeting? Let me see. I don't know that Julian's is Fireflies, but anyways, so they said that there were just two people living on pizza, and they would go take in the notes manually and then make sure they deliver them over within 10 minutes. And they were able to pay $750 rent up to a point where they finally got to use AI. So you can see those are some of the things that happen out there. So you can see even this guy Sam, I think it's from Nigeria, but right now they've been able to scale Fireflies to a $1 billion valuation, and that is the power. But that is one area of productivity, note takers. Because why should you say, go do minutes, then come back, tell us what you're supposed to do, and all these different things here. Even Zoom does have it. Things has this thing called Zoom AI Companion. Does an amazing job. So anything, if you want to make AI work for you, make it a default. But one advice I would give you is seek consent, because certain meetings are not to be done by everyone having their own note takers. For example, there's a certain day I was in a certain meeting. I joined in right on time, and we also had the hosts. And the host was, I can say, do you call them baby boomers or those from our earlier before millennials? Anyone who was older than millennials. So what happened is she was the chair of the meeting, and what happened is she saw that she joined early, and it was, think of it like the way we just started at the top of the hour, and she started saying, "Hi, Kevin." Okay, I said yes. I was actually the real me. Then he started saying hi to the note takers, and there was one, and she was getting uh, what angered, for lack of a better word, or disappointed that they're not unmuting and saying hi. Why? Because they are note takers, and they joined earlier than their physical or their human counterparts, if I can say. So it got to a point where she actually said that going forward, she's not going to be allowing any note takers to be coming into the meeting, especially if they're coming earlier than the person who's supposed to attend the meeting. So as a caveat, please make sure that your note taker is not more productive than you are. One line you'll see me talk about as we go through this whole webinar is, as you're making AI work for you, remember AI is your thought partner. It is not your replacement. It is not to be delegated some things, then it has to do it. I saw a certain post. It was a newspaper. It's just that I didn't capture it. I wish I could have taken a screenshot. And it was a good article. I think it was on one of our main dailies. I don't remember which dailies. And it was such a good article, but in the middle, it was written those things that ChatGPT usually puts. Would you like me to make it longer for you, or do? And it was a whole kind of a three phases that were there in that article. It was already published in the newspaper. It was very, very, very interesting. Another thing that happened was, I think it was Communications Authority. They did out a poster, and then it was to invite people, and it was to be given a link, and then it had that placeholder, insert the link here in square brackets, and then it was kind of a publicity stunt, and they had to say, we kind of forgot that and gave out something that had the link. So as you're doing anything with AI, remember, it's your thought partner, not your replacement. So let's go to the next thing. The next thing is the most interesting part. And I thought of doing something I'd already prepared, but I wanted us to make it as authentic as it can be. And maybe I'll ask any one of us, please, if you can, kindly give me, and I'll ask it in a very general way. What is that one problem that you're having right now that you'd want it to be solved as fast as possible? Any problem, any challenge. You can put it in the chat, or whether you're if you're a student, if you're doing a research, whatever problem it is, you can either put it in the chat or you can unmute. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put Copilot to the test. You're going to put Python, not Python, ChatGPT to the test. I'll put it here. Let me put mine here. And then you're also going to put Perplexity to the test. So these three chatbots, they're well known. Again, there's also Cloud, but we'll see how Cloud does it. Let's see if I can get, I don't know if it's going to log me in, but there's also Cloud. So as it comes through, I'm waiting for that particular problem that you are currently having. And again, if no one does, Amy, you have to come to the rescue. So I know I didn't set you up for this, but yeah, one particular problem. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to overthink it. Just a simple problem. So this one is not yet logging in, but it's fine. Quick queries such as coding. Okay. Yeah, it's just that I didn't want to get it into the coding perspective, but okay, let's try to make it as concise as possible. Let's say you've been given an assignment to create a login page, right? A login page for your web assignment. So what I'm going to do, as I've said, I'm going to put these three tools to the test, and you're going to see. So I'm going to ask. So as you can see for ChatGPT, I'm using the plus version, a paid version, but definitely even if the free version has some things. So what I will ask it, as you can see, there's deep research, there's agent mode, which is also able to open up a computer, and also for study and learn, very important. And you can see I also have my Notion here. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT, one thing about a good prompt, in terms of making AI work for you, you have to have a very good prompt, right? And the structure of a good prompt, if I can put it into perspective, let me just put it into here, is usually something structure of perfect AI prompt. Always know it starts with the persona. Who do you want it to take up in terms of that? So it's usually called the role, the task, the context, the format, and even sometimes an example. So let's say I'm going to do this. I'm going to get a login page. Login page example. Just use the images part. I'm going to use this one. Okay, let me see if I can use this one. Yeah. So I'm going to make a clipping of that. Then I'm going to go to ChatGPT and ask it, using the structure of a perfect AI prompt, prepare a prompt I will use for your AI agent mode, to design for me a login page, and I will include a screenshot as an example. So what I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm trying to do something very different. Sometimes we just ask AI, help me generate a login page. You should never, ever do that. In the era of making AI awesome and making it for you, you should think of it as your partner. And your partner, you can even correct them. The way you can talk to someone. Again, it also, you're going to see how you can use the audio part. So you can see it is telling me, do you see it as given the persona, the goal, the input, the requirements, the constraints, the output format, and even the evaluation criteria and the task. And you can see it as saying, you are a what? Designer fully responsive. These are the inputs, what. So you can see it is asking me other things that I don't want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now use this prompt, which is a good, perfect prompt. And then I'm going to paste it here. And then I'm going to add a screenshot, implementation option A. I can just say option A. Let me just use the simple option. Then I'm going to add you can see even ask me to take a screenshot. Let's see if I can. Okay, I think I can just take this, copy, and paste it there. So it is already set. Now that one is the perfect prompt. Paste it there. I'm going to also ask Copilot. My laptop is a Copilot PC. So the moment it has a Copilot button, so that the moment I press that, it takes me. And I'll use it. Instead, this one doesn't have agent mode, but I'll ask it to generate the code. So I'll just ask it to use GPT-5. Same case, same prompt across all these different platforms. I'm going to also paste the screenshot of the code. And you'll see, I think this one you'll have to look at the code, and we're just going to see what it's going to do. But Copilot, I rarely use it for the coding perspective. It's really not that good on that for me. Don't know if sometimes it gets offline, but let's get to Perplexity. Oh, I have to sign in. Okay, as it takes time to sign in, I'll also, because I want to also get a time to get to answer your questions, I'll move into, maybe not even just upload, I'll paste is it logging in? Or it's redirecting me to sign in. Okay. As it does that, which was the other platform, so the three, so I had already uploaded. Okay, I see that's done the prompt. So I'll just go to agent mode, make sure it is in agent mode, ask it to do that. Use the prompt and the screenshot to design the login page and show it on your short and show the code, show the page, something like that. So it's going to take up I think it's taking up the upload. Hope I'm still on. Okay. You can hear me, Amy and Tim. I don't know why the uploads are taking up.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I don't know why they upload, but you can see use the prompt. Because I'd already uploaded, I'll just take that. But what is going to be interesting about this AI agent, is it doing it? Okay. I closed it by mistake. But the beauty about AI agent is what I love about it is sometimes it can even ask you to log in on its computer if you can, if it's allowable, and then it will now start to do the work as you see it. I want to show you some examples because I'm seeing it's not trying to do the demagogues. Sometimes they say when so many eyes are looking at something, that is when it decides not to open up. So let's see whether I can open up something that I've worked on before so that I can show you. I'll show you some of the things that I usually use myself. Okay, as that loads up. Is it that my network does not allow AIs? Or should I think I should switch to hotspot. Let's switch to hotspot now. This particular rate. So that my agents can have a nice time with internet. I think it's going to be faster that way. So let this one sign in. I think it's signing in. I don't know that I have histories, but anyways. So one thing that I can tell you when you compare these three platforms, Perplexity is very good at research. For example, let me say, prepare a concept note. You can say as my research assistant, prepare a concept note for testing of AI enabled assistive glasses for junior school kids in Kenya. So I will enable, okay, I think I'll just do a deep research on it and I'll leave it to run. And then you're going to see how good it's going to come. After 3 minutes, you're going to come back on that. Then for ChatGPT, I'm going to show you something that I usually use it for. So as that continues. So for this one, I'll show you something that I did even the other day. So I was doing a training on mail merging. And what I did, let me show you what I did. So I just asked it, and I did it live in class. I said, generate for me 20 records that follow the following format for use in a mail merge for an invitation letter to a circle meeting. Then I even pasted salutation, first name. I didn't even put it in the right format, email and address. And it created this data. And when I copied this data and I went directly to Excel, as an example, if I do a blank workbook and I paste it, see how good that data is. It even added me as a Dr. Kevin Tuei, a consultant for tech growth, even put an email for different people in different circles, and I was able to use that dummy data to now do. So you can see now, even as it generate for me an invitation letter template, I use that. And you can see, I don't know that I have it here. Yeah, it is Ufanisi Sacco invitation letter. I did it live. Okay, it's opening all the other things that I had. Okay, just close these ones. Okay, it's there. Where is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, good. So you can see it did something. And if I go to mailings and I go to select mail merge step by step, and I go to next, okay, on all these different things, it was able to do for all the different people. And I was able to do it in like a mail merge lesson that it would have taken me 1 hour. It took me a record 15 minutes. And then I gave the rest of the minutes for the learners to do it hands-on. So that is the power of making AI work for you. So that is the other thing. And yeah, let's leave on the coding part of it first. I want to show you something else that I do for making AI work for me. This platform, I paid for it for a 5-year subscription because it was super good when I tested it for 1 month. It's called Akiflow. So Akiflow, as you can see here, it has been able to break down my work or my life into many different key areas. For example, I already have projects, my personal projects, work projects, lifelong learning projects, health projects, wealth projects, my leadership projects, and family projects, and many other different things here. So what you can see here, don't worry, don't please look at my calendar too much, but I can come into this platform here. You can see it even had a suggestion for me on this platform. Let's look at this. So let's go down. So do you see it's on Sunday, it told me, hey, Kevin, you have a 1 hour, 30-minute free slot on Monday from 5:30 to 9, and another on Tuesday from 7 to 9. This would be a good time to go to the gym. I don't know how it checks my whole calendar for the week. So, but let me show you an example live on how I will do it. And let's see, can I do, okay, let me just create a general, let me do a new chart here. Boom, generate an example meeting invite for ATLT webinar for tomorrow, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. with a dummy Google Meet link. Let's see what it's going to do. Yeah, so you can see it's already given me everything. So let me take this meeting invitation. I'm just using it as an example. So you can see it's Friday, November 14th, what. It's perfect because it has everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this invitation. Is it allowing me to copy? Let me copy it here. Read it in a page anyways. Copy. And then I'm going to come, and it's already connected also to my WhatsApp. So if I come into my WhatsApp and type, please don't check my messages. Let me check here. So these for example, you can see these are meetings I've been putting. Anytime I put a meeting, it automatically adds it to my calendar. So if I put these and remove the different AI parts, you can see that. So hopefully I'll delete it. And I can even specify which calendar. Let me say Kevin.Tuei at Taraka, because I have so many calendars. Then I press enter. I send it. So what it will do is it will interconnect with my Akiflow and say, okay, this person wants to get to a meeting. So you can see I've created an event called ATLT for you tomorrow, November 14th, from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. I've added Kevin.Tuei as a guest, and it will be on your Kevin.Tuei at taraka.ac. Does this look correct? Yes. I just say yes, and it's sorted. It says I'm creating. Actually, it's telling me it's about to do it, and you can see it has added. So when I go to my calendar, let me open my calendar live here, .google.com. So for me, I live on my calendar. If something is not in my calendar, it will not happen. It actually, or maybe I'll not appear to it. So you can see, this webinar is at 2 to 3 p.m. tomorrow. I don't know that I don't know that it got the capability to delete it. Can you remove it? Can you remove? I don't know that it can remove it. Let's see whether it can remove it. Sorry, I cannot. I can only create or edit. Okay, edit it to be Tharaka University ATLT webinar. So let's, and you can see I'm chatting with it on WhatsApp, as you can see here. So you can see I've updated the title. And you see it has already changed? Automatically it's here. And it's already having it even has a Zoom meeting link. And that is how I have like so many calendars. It's just that I cannot bring in my integrations. You can see I've connected my Gmail, my Notion, my Asana, my Trello, my Zoom. I have so many different calendars. It's just that I cannot show you all of them. But that is what AI can do for you. And you can see the many meetings I have after this. But yeah, so that is one other area that you can look. If you want to start small, if you want to work AI to work best for you, start using your calendar as a default. For example, free, you can see I can get more insights here. I can look at some small things like my focus time, a meeting. I can get some time insights on Google Calendar. Another easy platform that is free for you is Calendly. You can use Calendly to book meetings so that people can book you on and book your slot in your calendar. So check them out. Very good. I'm not like promoting them, but I've seen them work out. They are free. Before you even think about Akiflow and the others, you can use that. So that is one thing. Amy, how many minutes do I have so that I know that I have enough time for questions?
It is 2:40, so you have 10 more minutes.
I have a minute. Okay, awesome. So I'll just do like 2 minutes, then I'll be done so that you can get your questions. Okay, I've talked about productivity a lot because it's the easiest place to start. And the next thing that I'm going to show you. So remember we had something that was doing our research. I think it's done. Here it is. The perplexity. Perplexity is very good if you're doing some research. Sometimes it doesn't hallucinate much. So you can see concept note, testing of AI-enabled glasses for junior school kids in Kenya. Has something around some articles, key target 20 to 30 students with visual impairments or learning disability, supported by 30 to 40 teachers. Evidence, the pilot, some monitoring and evaluation, has some articles that I can look at. So it has some good sources, and I think update the citations to be in text using IEEE format. You just use that. I think it's going to take a little bit of time because it's also research, but it's going to now add the in-text citation so that I can look at them clearly and confirm why do I need that, so that I confirm whatever it's saying, I can go to that link and see whether it is actually, first of all, a valid link or whether it is also showing whatever is there. So that is that on that. And Copilot, as you can see, can do some small things here. One last thing I want to show you is the classical from Google Gemini, that is the Google Notebook LM. If you haven't used it yet, I can even use right now even there's Google AI Pro if you have an educational account. So I'll just use my Gmail because it has Google AI Pro. And if I go to Notebook LM, notebooklm.google.com. The beauty about it is it helps a lot in terms of contextual setup and setting up so many different things in terms of context engineering. I know a lot is in the prompt engineering space, but the next era of leveraging AI is context engineering. I can show you some examples. So you can see some examples I used earlier in the year. For example, when the national AI strategy was launched, I used Google Notebook LM to help me understand it in like a minute or so. So you can see I uploaded it, and you can even see it. You can even generate a video. For example, I can do an explainer or a brief, can generate the video. So I can just use the classic, or I can auto select, then ask it to generate the video. By the end of I don't know how long it will take, but it started out with just audio, which was a podcast of two AI people discussing a document. Don't know that I have it here. Yes, I have it here. So let me share my screen with audio and share with you and hear it.
Okay, so Kenya has been making some noise about their plans in the tech world, right? But now they've just come out and said it straight
Play.
up. They want to be the top AI hub in
It's talking,
all of
but I don't
Africa.
know if
It's
I can hear
ambitious.
it.
Yeah, it is. And they're not messing
Can
around,
hear it maybe.
In March, they released this whole strategy
But
document
it
called
was a
the
very
Kenya
nice
Artificial
kind of
Intelligence
audio
Strategy
overview. Sometimes it loads it for around
2025-2030.
30
Oh,
minutes.
wow.
Yeah. So we're going to do a deep dive into this thing today and see what
30
it's really
minutes.
all about.
And
Because
imagine
at
30
first
minutes of
glance, it's
understanding a
way more
video.
than
And I
just
can
some
still
vague
prompt it,
ideas.
and I can
It's
say,
a
what are the
serious
main
plan for the
pillars?
future.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can just
what
say,
jumps out
not
at
too
me just
much.
from looking at
What
the
are the main
title is the
pillars?
time frame
And it's
2025 to
going to understand and
2030.
tell me from
Yeah.
this
That's a
document,
pretty specific and
from this
relatively short window
PDF
for
or
such a big
something,
goal.
I can
Exactly. It
get to
makes you think
understand.
they're ready
So
to
you
hit
can
the
see
ground
this is the
running.
Definitely.
pillars of
And to
the
really get into the nuts and
Kenya
bolts
AI
of it,
Yeah.
we
strategy,
need to understand
AI
not just
digital
what they want to
infrastructure,
achieve, but also why
data,
AI is so important for
AI
Kenya
research and
specifically and how
innovation,
they plan to actually
and many
pull
other
this off.
different things.
Right.
So
And
Google
one of the
Notebook
things that
LM,
really struck me as I was
very
going through all the
helpful when it
background on
comes to
this is
context
how many different
engineering.
voices they brought into the
Awesome.
conversation to create this strategy.
Oh, interesting. So it wasn't just some
Oh,
top-down
sorry.
government.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. I didn't know that it was speaking. Sorry, it was speaking and I was speaking. I can't hear it. Let me see why I can't hear it. Oh, yeah, I've not known why. I've known why. Yeah.
Initiative.
Not at all. It was a real collaboration.
Yeah, so I think it was speaking and I didn't know. My audio was on my audio output was on another device. But what I was saying earlier was it helps a lot in terms of context engineering. And also when you're studying, especially as a researcher, as a postgrad student, you have a lot of content you've been given by your faculty and you don't have time to go read them like line by line, page by page, and such. So that is the beauty about Google Notebook LM. Again, still they have a very pretty robust chatbot in gemini.google.com. You can ask it, for example, there's something, I don't know, there's something called Google Banana. I think this one. So if I add a picture, I upload my picture, for example, I can do something funny here. Let me get my picture. Yeah, let me get my picture. That's my picture. And so can I ask it? So be in a beach with beards and dreadlocks. Just like have a nice Google banner or something. So let's see what's going to do. Whether it's going to change me to look weird. But I saw this when I went for a Google AI roadshow, and I say it was pretty good in terms of what it could do. Did our thing appear with in-text citations? Yes, so you can see it did this. I think it did some things here. You can see it added some numbers or something. But yeah, so do you see how good it is? I don't know whether I look like that if I had beards and dreadlocks. but you can see how perfect, almost near perfect it is. So you can see in the age of deepfakes, you can do a lot. Maybe I can think about and say I've transformed and it's going to download a full size, but you can see how good it is in terms of that. Yeah, so I think I'll take it back to Amy to answer some questions and also give you, I'll wrap it up by giving you simple ways to get started in making AI for you work for you. For me, I've used it for the last 1.5 years. So I might look like I'm already in 2090, but for you, trust me, as long as you decide to make it part and parcel of your life, you're going to definitely have a good time, if I can ask you. So yeah, back to you, Amy, for the Q&A.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tuei, especially for showing us various tools and the various ways in which you can use it. So there are currently 2 questions, and I'm sure people will filter in others. So the first question that I can see is from a Mr. Benjamin, who asks, how can one ensure the AI they use for research, such as literature reviews, provides reliable, bias-free results that they can confidently use in their work?
Yeah. So I'll answer it in 2 ways. First of all, is it has to start from you, then to the tool. Remember, it's a tool, and there's one time someone ever said, AI is one weird thing that it is so there's no intelligence in it, such that you for example, let me do it live. Let me show you that. For example, let me see if I can do it live and show you what was being said. I don't know that ChatGPT will do it, but let's show you live. Is it ChatGPT or which one will do it? Or I can even do a new chat here. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so this is how weird it is. For example, does it, or this is just a page. So for example, let me ask it, who is the wife to the president of Madagascar? Who is the wife to, let me say, to Madagascar president. Let me just use the Madagascar president. Don't know that the president came back or they flew away. So let's just ask something like that. Yeah, former president says Miali Weber. So if I ask it, who is Miali Rajoelina? I don't know that it's going to understand. But maybe it's because I'll ask it on the same context. It might understand. Maybe it might understand it from the same context. So you can say, then I can say, maybe it's because, does it have search? Is it using search? Maybe. Then I can say, no, she was called Mali, not Miali. I don't know that it's going to accept or it's going to. So you can see why the confusion is already, if you've seen Mali is used like a local article, I'd be happy to trace. No, it is the correct one. Wikipedia is wrong. So I'm just trying to fool it, right? Then you can see it is. So you can see, do you see how it's always going to appreciate me and be positive? Thanks for raising that. I appreciate the attention. If you have trusted the source and first-hand confirming, I'd be glad to explore further. What? Will you be open showing where you saw what? So you can see it is already on my side, as much as I'm fooling it or I'm just playing with it. So Benjamin, the short answer to this is AI is your thought partner. Always, never trust, always verify. So for example, for me, it tried to verify and even put for me a link that I can put. So if I click on this link, can I go back and see exactly what it meant? Sometimes I've seen some AI models, especially for research papers, it creates some fake links. It's just that I cannot log in for some that I did some prompts a while back, especially, Axiv.org. I think Axiv, yes, Axiv.org. Many AI models just hallucinate on creating a link here. So you might be given, I think it's from Cornell University. It's going to create something that's not a real paper. So very important to verify. And also, one last thing is to do context engineering. If you can limit its search, if you can limit to maybe its access that it can use, you are better off. So make sure you give it examples, limit what it can use, and you're going to have a better result compared to just having it go on and on and on and on. If you don't want to limit it, you can also use deep research if you're using any platform, and it's going to help you a lot. Yeah. That is in short. That I think that is, yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
very much, actually, especially since the example when it comes to providing links, because I figured, okay, if they're providing links, it has to be real, but it's clear that somebody actually has to pay attention and ensure that they're not using that as their own brain, let us say. So next question is, Hekima has asked that
Yeah.
you are
Yeah,
a
I've seen that
package tracer.
question is quite long.
Yeah,
Maybe because I've already read it so that we save on time and answer a number of different questions, I'll answer it this way, is if you want to do a lot in terms of the practice, use the Cisco NetAcad platform, especially for anything that they've been able to use and align. If you can decide to go Cisco U, use that. Use their particular platforms, and I'll share a couple of YouTube channels that you can use for your CCNA prep and your practices. So that's how we can answer Hekima.
okay, thank you very much. Another question that was brought up is AI use ethical and secure in implementation? How do I counteract bias without having to do much research, for it feels like quite a risk?
Yeah, so as I've said, AI use in itself is not a matter of whether it's ethical or not. It's a matter of, in the context where you are using it, how far can you go with it? For example, you remember Deloitte. Deloitte was sued by the government of Australia, and they had to they had to refund a good number of amount of money, and then they had to redo the whole work that they've done in their consultancy. The reason was simple, not that the use of AI was bad by Deloitte, but the fact that the government of Australia had paid them a good chunk of money for them to do the groundwork themselves rather than just depend on a desk research using AI. That means that they were not supposed to rely on AI to that level. For example, if you're using it for research, it's not bad for you to look at it for correctness, use it to look at the structure, help you use do a variety, make variety of your wordings and other different things. But again, the research has to be done by you. That is why it has to be a thought partner. And for you to counteract bias is, as I've said, make sure you call it out. For example, if it has been able to just look at only one thing, give it an example. Move away from just prompt engineering to context engineering. So give it as much context as possible. You remember when I started with Notion, I gave it one of my notes from PMI Kenya notes. And from there, it was able to give me ideas on how things work. And don't be stigmatized. I always see people say that they feel like there's stigma when they say they've used AI for one reason or another. Please, I know where we sit, and we have many people who are gatekeepers in the research space and say that the true value of a research is in hard work that is actually not hard work. So if I'm able to spend more time doing testing and validation rather than going to do literature review, then that is a more stronger research compared to one that I spent a lot of time doing literature review and very little time for testing and validation. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm seeing there's one more question from Ms. Juliana Cheng, who's still in the ethical guideline space. She's trying to understand, what's the way forward.
Yeah. So, for example, one thing I always say for ethical guidelines, especially on images, if you've generated a particular image using AI, please attribute that particular AI. For example, image generated using Microsoft Designer or maybe whichever kind of platform, Midjourney, it helps a lot when you do those attributions, especially when it comes to images and things around copyright. The other thing around, so attribution becomes very key in terms of that. Then when it comes to research and when you're building out papers, it's very important for you to look at it as your partner rather than it doing all the heavy lifting and for you just transfer it to a Word document and print it. No, that should not be the case. So for you to use AI ethically, you have to break down whatever you're working on. For me, for example, it had gotten to a point where as I was doing my master's research, I was constantly getting some tiny tweaks from my supervisor, like change these from 10 iterations to 40 iterations, just to make sure that it is more, or maybe 50 iterations. Already, I knew that I've already done the work. So I was just asking AI, I'm having this code. It is doing only up to 10 iterations. Please help me refactor that code for it to run for 40 iterations. Then once it did that for me and I validated it, I ran the code and then I got the output and added it to my dissertation. That is part of making AI your partner. Something that maybe for the purposes of changing would have taken me another 3 or 4 weeks. It took me less than an hour to do it. So that is very important when you're looking at ethical use. And it doesn't mean that I go there and say, I've been able to do this by myself. And again, if you're not able to explain whatever is going on there, that is when you're going to be caught up. And the problem when you're caught up is that you're not going to blame an AI. It's going to still go back. The reputation drain is going to get onto you. So on it, and also on research, I've heard there's a number of students. Please, it's one thing to just take a question from a faculty or from your lecturer and put it on an AI agent and take whatever you've gotten as an answer and put it into a document and submit it. It's one thing to question the very first answer that you've gotten. Go deeper, ask it to even critique its own answer. And that is where the learning is taking place.
Thank you very much. I believe that was the last question. I know you said that you had some end remarks before we close things off, so by all means.
Yeah. So for you to get started easily, look at areas where you are doing things repetitively. And it is, for lack of a better word, wasting your time. For example, if every day if you're invited to a meeting, you have to manually add it to your calendar, send invites to people, then that is something you need to delegate to AI to do, as long as you validate. So anything that you're doing repetitively, that is, seek those areas for you to automate. If you're thinking about AI adoption in your organization or in a wider, like in your team, seek out areas where the team will thrive with more time to do the thinking and the creativity and the innovation, and then the AI will do the manual work. I have an example. there was a time when I was supposed to, we had already done some recruitment and things were being done online. And I had the work of deleting actually, I was supposed to manually delete testimonials from that platform for security purposes. And it was like, was it like how many applications? Like 8,000 job applications. I could not have finished it. So I used a platform called UiPath for robotic process automation. I constantly checked what it was doing. It's called UiPath. And it actually did that around 1,000 records per day. And within less than 2 weeks, I was done deleting all the different testimonials on that platform after they were all moved to a secure platform. So that is something that you need to look at in terms of getting started. And finally, as you're doing it, make sure you are also like, how can I put it? As you're doing it, make sure you are also documenting whatever you've done. For example, keep a record or a library of your best prompts so that you can go back to that library, extract that prompt, and use it again and again. So you can use Notion, you can never use whichever database. Keep a library of the things that have worked for you so that you don't have to start again and again and again. Yeah, so that's my take, Amy.
Thank you very much. What an incredible demonstration of how various AI applications can transform people's workflow, especially since I have learned about much more applications than I thought actually existed. So it has been quite insightful. And thank you for also showing and destigmatizing the advantages that comes with AI. And I would like to tell the audience that this is more than just a webinar. I think the real impact truly begins when we take in action ourselves, try out these various applications, challenge ourselves, and so that it's not just a passive viewing experience. So pick up one of the applications that you've seen today that Mr. Tuei has demonstrated, from generating AI to research to just daily repetitive tasks, especially those of us who are on the desk. It is quite true. Sometimes you find yourself stuck in a certain flow. So we understand that this technology can be overwhelming, but he has really shown us how advantageous and it can be, and there are various places in which we can go to. So on behalf of everyone, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Tuei. I'd also like to thank the audience for your engagement and for your questions. And thus, we all wish you very much of the luck that you need on your AI journey and as we continue forward in our daily lives. Thank you very much. And yeah, he's giving even more on the chat. So also check out the chats to see anything that you might need. I'm definitely also noting this all down. And so, but thank you, truly. I hope you all have a lovely day and continue forward. If there's anything you missed, this is recorded and you will find it on our YouTube and website so that you can always come back and learn more from. Thank you.
Thank you.